everyone. Me and Luigi are back. He's sleeping. The angels wanted me to speak about fear today and how it relates to our lives and how it holds us back from achieving a life that's filled with peace and joy and our life's purpose and creativity. Now, fear is primordial. It keeps us safe, so a certain amount of fear is necessary. It's evolutionary and it's in our bodies and it's passed on and it's there to keep us safe. But fear only becomes a problem when it becomes no longer about keeping us alive and us well, but we take it a step further and we find ourselves in this self-inflicted prison and we're not happy and we don't know why we aren't where we want to be or achieving what we want to be, or we don't have the relationships we want. And fear stops us from falling in love, really, from opening our hearts in a deep level. Our defenses are so strong, so sometimes we find all these reasons why a relationship isn't working or what the other person is doing wrong, and we develop techniques where we push them away. Our defenses can be so strong where we think that it's coming from the outside, that work or relationships are doing negative things to us. All the while, it's really our fear of intimacy, our fear of love, that keeps us from having the relationship that we want. And this is a very touchy subject because sometimes I'll have clients that will come in and they just can't seem to make a relationship work, or they can't seem to find their soulmate, or it just never seems to work out. And there's so many people in the world. There's if we really wanted to find somebody, we really would. And I say this with an enormous amount of compassion, because I know that the clients that I have are in a tremendous amount of pain about this, and they would never ever, never ever consciously feel that this is so. In their mind, they feel that they're doing everything right, and somehow everybody else has the relationships and happiness they want, and somehow they are victimized and it hasn't worked out for them, and they're really in a lot of pain about it. And so this is more about understanding our unconscious mechanisms and messages from the angels of that if we're in a relationship, it's because we want to be in one, and if we're not, it's because the fear of intimacy and the fear of allowing that love in, or giving up control by allowing somebody else into our space and to get to know us is very daunting and very fearful. And the fear of the intimacy and the relationship and letting love in and giving love and receiving love far outweighs what we think the joy would be. So, it's always about going home to oneself, and meditation is the key. When we talk about, the angels will mention things and problems, and also in my previous videos, people want to know then, okay, this is so, but how do I get out of this? How do I stop overeating or undereating, or the addictions, or pushing people away, or not being able to have a relationship and having intimacy issues? So it all begins with creating space within inside ourselves to hold the fears, to hold the pain, and to create space to allow our intuition and the information about what's going on inside ourselves to break through. And it breaks through in the silence, and silence comes from meditation, and meditation creates space, and the information and insight comes from meditation. Because people think meditation's for new age people, or they don't have time for meditation, or meditation's about hearing angels or becoming more spiritual. But meditation is a way of knowing God, hearing angels, and most importantly, knowing yourself. So insight will come from meditation, from the stillness and the quiet and the space of meditation. And it may come right away, and it may come in fragments and it may come over time. But if you stick with it, I promise you, you'll get insight, whether it's through dreams or gut feelings or knowingness. You will get insight into what's going on with you. And what I like to do is say I'm feeling sad, or I'm having conflict with somebody, or I'm upset with somebody. I won't act on it. It's the pauses in between are so important. I will take that to my meditation. I will take the friction I'm having with somebody, if I'm having friction, or if I'm sad, or I'm not eating as healthy as I should, or I'm not eating as much as I should, or I'm eating too much, or maybe I just don't feel like myself. You know, that kind of feeling where you're a little bit out of sorts. And meditation is then the perfect thing to do, to go home to yourself. And I breathe on whatever I'm experiencing at the time, whether it's conflict with another person, or diet, or sadness, or confusion. I take that into my meditation and I breathe on that. I breathe on confusion, I breathe on the conflict, I breathe on what I'm consuming or not consuming. And after a while, maybe not in that meditation, though sometimes, a little bit later or a few days later, I will get insight into that problem. And maybe it might take me 3 days to breathe on that same issue, or a week, or a month. But eventually those insights will come into your relationships, of what you need to do to manifest them or make them better, into your diet, what you need to include or exclude, into your work, career, if you're feeling lost. And this is so many people, they feel that they're not achieving what they should, or they don't want to be doing what they're doing, but they don't know what else to do, and they need to produce an income. So meditating on your career, meditating on your work, going inside and asking yourself for clarity, and the angels for clarity, and God for clarity. And you can breathe on your work for a week or 2 weeks. Keep whatever's bothering you or not working in your life as a meditation. And you don't meditate on it not working, you just meditate on whatever the issue is. So if it's a relationship or if it's work, you just bring that into your meditation, and you breathe on your work, and you breathe on your relationships and your health. And how this helps us is it breaks through the barriers of our defenses, and it gets through our fears, because a lot of people will wait until things are perfect before they do things. Our defenses about what we're afraid to do are so big sometimes that we don't even realize that fear lies behind it. So we think only when we lose a certain amount of weight, or we look a certain way, or we have our soulmate, or we have the house we want, or we have the money that we need, we will travel to here or there. And we clean our house in an OCD kind of frenzy as a way of, you know, sometimes we become germphobes or neat freaks, and we really bother the people around us. And underlying that is actually fear. Fear, it can be fear of life, it can be anger also hidden. And our fears come in many disguises. So the angels are saying that we don't want to prepare for life. You know, life is in session. We've all heard that. We can't, if we wait until we're ready inside. I mean, if I waited until I was ready to share the messages from the angels or these talks, they would never happen. I mean, it might not come across in these videos, but it's terrifying to not know what you're going to speak about. And the angels say, moments before you press record, this is what you're going to talk about. And to have that kind of faith that the information that is going to come through. And this is what it's like with our lives. If we wait until we're ready, or we think we're ready, or we have enough, or until we are enough, or until somebody loves us, I can tell you now, it's never going to happen. That life walks to greet you as you move towards life, and God's help and the angels show up to help you, but we have to walk towards them first, and we have to have faith that it will work out. And if we Luigi is snoring, so that's the soundtrack to this, you know, not to take it all too seriously, but we have to look at what's working in our life. We have to see not just the flowers that are wilting and dying in the garden, but all the ones that are beautiful there. And that's an example of our life. You know, there is so much that's beautiful right now. If we look for it, there's so much that's working. Our health, you know, even if we're not experiencing full health, there's other parts of us that are there. And it's about being mindful and appreciative of the beauty that exists outside of ourselves, in nature, in people, within us. And we have to let go of our perfectionism. We have to let go of looking all the time to what's not working in our life, to the flower that's dying outside of us and in us. We, instead of kind of criticizing ourselves and, you know, seeing what is not perfect and what isn't working in our lives, the angels are saying, let's start looking at what is working, and the momentum will click on from there. You know, we will gain strength in the beauty of seeing what is beautiful and good in us and what is beautiful and good in others. And the angels are saying that we need to be able to feel the fear and do it anyway. And if we're waiting until things and ourselves are perfect and ready, it's never going to happen. Begin by doing meditations, creating space inside yourself, asking God and the angels for guidance, and the insights from your meditations will start to show up. Be brave, be bold, be beautiful, and really, this is the only life we have. Go after everything that you want to. Believe in yourself, and don't let the fear tell you you can't have it or you're not good enough, because don't listen to that voice. And the more you ignore it, the quieter it will become. I'm wishing you so much love and so much strength. Namaste.